The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And good evening and welcome to The Factor Uncensored. A Houston attorney, prominent attorney, is going after a well-known bar for discrimination. He says he was denied entry at the Sugar Room on Washington Avenue, all because of the color of his skin. Now, this is a problem blacks face all across this country. Told you can't come into a business because of your clothes as a red herring.
So one of my very dear friends, near and dear friends, who actually was my very first paralegal at my law firm, by the way, we go back many years. She had just basically joined the Army, and she was getting ready to go away to her first boot camp and all that good stuff. And it was also her birthday. And so she was sharing that along with some other very close family members. And it was a big ordeal, okay, because, you know, going to the military is a big step in anybody's life and all the things. We got a war going on right now on the other side of the world. So I was invited to that event, of course, and I was excited to go, and I wanted to attend that event. Unfortunately, I was unable to get inside the establishment. I was stopped by security at the front door, and I never got in. Long story short, what they were telling me is that the pants that I was wearing had holes in them, and that's not permissible inside of their establishment. You know, they basically told me that, and I said, okay, if that's the rule, that's the rule. And so I left the establishment, but I got there before Cindy and the rest of the party. Mm-hmm. So I left that establishment and I was waiting on the sidewalk, like the public area, so that whenever Cindy did get there in her party, I could say, okay, you know, this is what's going on. I can't get in tonight. Here's your gift, you know, and talk to her and all of that and, you know, kind of go from there. While I was waiting on Cindy and the rest of the party to get there, I'm watching people walk by me, but not just holes, but gaping holes in their clothes, mm-hmm. Flip-flops, very casual attire. And they're walking past me, walking up the stairs and going right inside without any issue at all. Eventually I started filming this, okay? Mm-hmm. And then after this happened, I went back and I said, okay, you know, I'm waiting here without any issue, but I'm, you know, what's going on? I think you just said, I can't go in, but I've just watched several people, other people go in for the very thing that you refused my entryway for.
And it's unfortunate that we as a people have to go through those extremes to prove that here it's clear that you may be, you are discriminating, because I see the same person with the same damn attire or worse walking in while you can't get in.
Exactly. It's clear cut. And they even tried to, when I came back the second time, they were trying to say, no, they tried to deny it. Like, no, you didn't. I said, I have it on film. So it's not, I'm not sitting here trying to make up a case. I'm not trying to sit here. I have evidence mm-hmm. of how you excluded me, and then other people have been able to walk in without issue. And then even after I pointed that out, I said, okay, so what are we going to do about it? Are you, now that I'm telling you there's people inside in violation of the same rules that you refused me for, are you going to now go in and remove them?
You tried to remedy the situation.
I tried to remedy the situation. I asked to speak to the manager. I was trying to work through this situation to no avail. They wouldn't give me the manager's information, the owner's information, or anything like that. They encouraged me. They said, go find his information on Instagram, follow up with him. But they had nothing to do with me that night. Nothing could be said, no rationale. They believed that what they were doing was justifiable, and that's what's so unfortunate. It happens way too often.
Did you ever hear back from management, or were you able to ever contact management at the nightclub?
Immediately thereafter, we sent letters and correspondences. No response at all.
So you had no choice but to move forward with this legal action. Tell me a little bit about your lawsuit. What are you hoping to get through this lawsuit?
You know, Isaiah, this is bigger than me. And when I say that is, although I was deeply hurt and troubled and I have suffered embarrassment, all the stuff that goes along with being rejected in public and all of this and all of that. And why does this happen? Why do things like this continue to happen year in, year out? What is going on? All of these feelings and issues and that I suffered. One of the most indelible things that happened to me is like maybe the next day or two after all of this, I was going to the gym. And when I was checking in at the gym, some of the guys, they know, obviously, they know I'm an attorney there. One of the gentlemen checking me in, who of course I told nobody about this, okay, stopped me and said, he was asking me for advice. He's a white guy, but he has a black son. They were in Miami. They went to a very nice restaurant. His son was excluded entry into that restaurant because they said he had on slides. He had on flip-flops. Mm-hmm. His father, okay, it was a nice restaurant. They had to wait like an hour and a half before they could be seated. Said, okay, stepped away. There was a Dillard's or whatever down the street. He said, we'll come back. We want to keep our reservation. He went down, decked his son out from head to toe, came back, and they were able to be seated at the restaurant when their number was called. However, right after he was seated, a group of Caucasian young men came in there with, you guessed it, slides on their feet. Mm-hmm. Now he had, and sat down, ate, no issue. There was no questions or any issue at all. Now he's sitting there with his young son, who was devastated, crying at the dinner table about what just happened. Now he's talking, now his dad, his father is talking to me in Houston a couple of days after this happened to me, asking me, do I have a cause of action? Is this right? Should I do something about it? And then the lawyer in me is like, absolutely, you have absolutely, you should do something about it. Let me help you. I know some friends that are attorneys in Miami. You should not let this go. The damage that it's done to your son, he'll never forget it. Okay, he'll have to live with this now for the rest of his life. And I'm talking to him about his case.
I don't think a lot of people realize just how painful that is when you're rejected and you see others who are doing and dressed the very same way, allowed in, but you now realize it's only the color of your skin that's keeping you out instead of your actual attire. I don't know if people can realize the damage and the hurt that has on people of color.
Yeah, I don't, and unless you've experienced something like that, I mean, or really can really identify, like him, he was white, but he has his son is black. So the dad is feeling it. You see what I'm saying? Like he can see, he saw how his son was crushed by something of that nature, right? And so it takes almost a special connection. You really got to be able to either think outside of your box, or if you felt it in some sort of way, or maybe in some other category, like because of your weight, or because of your age, or because of something like your gender, right? And it leaves a mark. I tell you, it leaves a mark for the rest. You will never forget it. When it happens to you, it's one of those things that stick with you for the rest of your life. Because that's what it feels like. It burns on the inside. And I felt that burning too. And while I was sitting there giving him advice, I was almost talking back to myself. Right. And I said, I wonder if this is
wounds again.
It's a divine, maybe that it was meant for me to be there that night. And it was supposed to happen to me, because so often it happens to people and they don't have the means to do anything about it, or they don't know who to contact. And so what happens is the establishment keeps doing it. There's no recourse. They don't ever get checked. But this time it happened to me. And so now, this is what we don't, and I don't want that to continue to happen, not only for my sake, but for anybody's sake. It shouldn't happen. It's wrong, it's discriminatory, and we need to take some action on it.
Well, as they say, they picked the wrong one this time. Mr. Powells, thank you for joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight. Appreciate your time and your story, and I'm sure your case will help others and send a reminder to businesses that discriminate out there. It won't be tolerated.
Amen. That's what our hope and prayer is for.
Now, this isn't the first and only allegation the Sugar Room has faced. Fox 26's Matthew Seedorf spoke to a woman who believes she was also discriminated against there. That story is up now on fox26houston.com, so go there and check it out. Now, we also tried reaching out to the Sugar Room for comment about Powell's allegations. We did not hear back. We will continue to follow up and try and get a response.